Hi everyone, it's Tara Maxwell from TaraMaxwell.com.
And AJ Maxwell.
And we just felt inspired to share with all of you as you're getting on right now. Some of you may know that there was this recent social media attack on us. And we wanted to share with you, really in the very greater context of why we love NOSARA. So for those of you that are new, I'll kind of give you a little background. So we had a vendor who had given us a quote before the retreat, and then after the retreat, doubled the price. We wanted to negotiate, etc., but they weren't willing to find a middle ground. That's not important. What happened afterwards? It was an experience.
Shocking, yeah.
It was definitely an experience, and the thing is that some people have actually critiqued me for living in a bubble, and it's true. It's true. I live in a bubble. We live in a bubble. We live in a dream because we all get to live in our own dream, and in our dream is that we live in this beautiful community, that it's magical here in NOSARA, that people don't gossip, that people here that are very reflective and intentional and conscious, and just feeling the support of the universe, that we're supported everywhere we go. And so that's the reality that I choose to live in. And so there was a couple weeks that I'm smiling now, but it's been pretty tough.
Yeah.
It was almost like the curtains were pulled back. And I saw some ugliness. I'm like, people wanting to make allegations without talking to us and making just untrue statements and gossiping and everything. And what happened for me, and I'll share this with you because there's some of you that know you are here to make a major impact in the world. You know that you're here to shine your light. And your biggest fear is that when you step into the light, that others are going to critique you, that others are going to pull you down. And so I'm going to share this with you so you can kind of learn from our experience and how we've walked through this. It's true. It's true. The more that you are visible, the more that you connect to your divine purpose and say, I don't give a fuck what others think, that I am here to live on purpose. I am here to share my message with the world. I'm here to make a difference. And people do want to tear you down sometimes. The more that, it's almost like moths that are just attracted to the light. And this is not a critique of others. Hey, Lisa, sending you so much love.
Hey.
It's just, look at nature and you can, we have lights here, and when we turn it on, bugs will come from miles around because they want to get to the light. And so for me, I'm sharing this with you because if you have that big fear and it's stopping you, I'm sorry I can't say like, oh yeah, it's not going to happen. It is, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. What it's an invitation is for you to commit to your vision and commit to your purpose. Because when we're living on purpose and we're standing in the light and we're standing for truth, and we're not perfect, we screw up, we make mistakes, and we clean up our side of a street when we do. It's not about that, but it's just about choosing to live on purpose. And the other thing about that is that, so for me, we live in this bubble, and it's like feeling like we go surfing every day, just amazing human beings that we're surrounded with. We're surrounded with people that don't gossip. We really don't get to know what's kind of behind the scenes because it's just not really part of our world.
Right.
Because we know, we understand the power of our vibration, and we don't want to spend time gossiping. Not that we don't ever fall into that, but it's always like a course correction. So the veils were pulled back, the curtains were pulled back, and there was a couple weeks where I was looking at oh my gosh, what is this dream that I created? Oh my gosh, what is my part? What is my part in this? And one thing, for sure, we did not get it in writing. I thought it was pura vida, and so that was a big lesson. We've definitely learned a lesson, a business lesson in that. And the other thing is that for me, on a really personal level, we've always moved. With corporate reloads, we moved 5 times in 7 years. And my dad was in the military, so I was used to living, to moving. And underneath that was a fear of intimacy, a fear of putting down roots and really like saying, you know, I love this place and I'm going to let people get to know me. And what if, like, you know, what if people aren't nice, or what if people get to know you and they don't really like you, or whatever those kind of like limiting beliefs were. And so that was still in my energy field. And so, of course, whatever's in our energy field, it comes into physical reality. And so what showed up for me on a personal level was like, wow, there's people out there that live in my community that don't really want the best for you. I mean, there were some that actually insinuated that we're criminals. You know, I talked to my brother who's an attorney. He's like, this is like defamation, which is like highly illegal. But it doesn't matter because we're not, I mean, the whole point is about love. And so I had to do healing work around that. I had to do healing work around my own fear of intimacy and being able to look at each of those people and just, you know, just letting go of my own trigger and just saying, you know what, I choose to see you in love. For whatever reason, you're showing up this way and you haven't reached out and said, hey, like, what happened? Or trying to, you know, one of the things we try to follow Don Miguel Ruiz, and there's one of the 4 agreements. One of them is your word is gold. Your word is gold. This idea of being in integrity. And so that's something that's very important to us. Not perfect at it, but certainly we're conscious of that, being integrity with our word. And the second is assuming the best. Assuming the best in each of us, even in this vendor. Assuming the best. He was doing the best that he could with whatever tools and his filter and way of looking at the world. And so the other piece of this that I wanted to share is that, so we live in this bubble, this magical bubble of NOSARA, and I wanted to recreate and actually recommit to why we love NOSARA, because we consciously get to create our own dream. And NOSARA is a microcosm of this planet. If we, for all of you that live in NOSARA, if we cannot unify and choose to see each other with love, and choose to overcome disagreements and mediate and unify, then how can we expect there to be a better planet? Because we live in a friggin' magical place. We live in a place where there is so much abundance. You stick a papaya seed in the ground, and 6 months, a year later, you have an abundance of papayas. I mean, we live in a place of pura vida. And so it was a little bit like shocking to see, like, oh my gosh, there's all this, like, there was some negativity there. And even in the face of that, choosing love, choosing to send each of you that have said something, just to say, I love you, that I love you, and that I see you, and it's okay. It's perfect, because you also provided a gift for us. It was a big up level, because if I can't handle a little media blitz, an attack here, then how can I fully step into my purpose and do the work that I am guided that I'm here to do? So for me, it was like training. It was training. It was exercising that muscle, because it's so easy to say that we love. It's so easy to say that we forgive, and then, but can you do that in the face of that? When in the face of your neighbors that like pass you every day, that you usually wave to, and then they're calling you criminals.
Yeah. I have a top secret clearance, but I'm a criminal.
Yeah. And so I'm sharing this because the invitation for all of you that live in NOSARA and at whatever community that you live in is that we get to collectively create this stream. And it's our responsibility. And so it's an invitation for each of us to choose love. And one of the things that was frustrating is there were a few gringos who were actually inciting him instead of like helping us find peace and find mediation, which is just what we want. We're all about flow. We're all about increasing abundance for everyone. Not just, it's not about profit. It's about how do we each step into that, the highest version of ourselves. How do we each get to experience abundance? And so we all get to choose. And what I want to affirm is that we love NOSARA because it's a magical place. There are so many of you that reached out and that shared and said, hey, I see what you're going through, but we can kind of read between the lines, and we just want to tell you that we have your support. And it's really not about taking sides, because we all have our own filters, and it's not about that at all. But I want to affirm that so many of you and us have chosen to be here, that you've been reflective. You have chosen to leave the matrix. You have chosen to define whatever version of your dream is. And the more of us who choose that, it creates this ripple effect on the planet. So thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for those of you that have brought your children here, that we get to collectively raise them together, that we get to fortify and this community, because this is how we shift the planet. This is how. And thank you, so many of you who have chosen, who selectively, consciously choose not to gossip. And then when we do, correct it, because we're still human, and sometimes I know it can be an old pattern, but who choose that. So many of you who have chosen to live a life on purpose, who have chosen to look at, like, these are the gifts, these are the things that light me up. Even if lighting you up, it's surfing every day. In fact, especially if what lights you up is surfing every day, thank you. Because when you choose to live on purpose, when you choose to follow your heart and whatever lights you up, you give others the permission to do the same. This is how we shine our light, and this is how we create a ripple effect on the planet. So we love NOSARA because it is a magical place. There are so many beautiful Costa Ricans that have this generosity, that have this willingness to support, this willingness to just this pura vida, that aren't so attached to material things, that don't really care that much about it, that see the abundance here, and that also see the beauty. And I know even when we're talking about a group of people, I don't want to make generalizations, but that's what I see a lot of. That is my filter, and I like that filter. Because what we choose to see, and so I also, for those of you that sometimes are like, we have this group called NOSARA Rant and Rave. And I love it as a community because it's a place to rave, to support each other, to say like, hey, this person did a really great job and I really liked this, and to encourage each other. And sometimes there's a place for ranting. Sometimes there's a place to speak our truth if there's something that we feel is wrong and there's a sense of justice. But for those of you that are using that to gossip and that are focusing on the negative, it doesn't affect me. But don't do that, because it's affecting your reality. It's creating more struggle. It's creating more strife. It's creating more negativity. And if you want to live your dream, I teach, my specialty is on how to manifest your dream. And we all have access to that. I don't care who you are in the world. We all have access to living on purpose and manifesting our dream. That dream that's aligned with what we're supposed to create in this world. And so if you're doing that, it's a mind virus. You're actually repelling abundance. You're creating more discord in your life. So stop it. Stop it. Choose to see the good. Choose to clear up that filter. In fact, we're doing a free energy healing workshop every month. We just did it last week in the NOSARA community. And we're doing that because we are so friggin' grateful for being here. We are so friggin' blessed. And we're so friggin' grateful for all the Costa Ricans that have the hospitality, that have said, okay, hey, we welcome you into our country. And so it's our opportunity for me just to be in my genius zone and to share, because I know the power of shifting, of permanently releasing those emotional blocks and limiting beliefs. And so for some of you, when I say, oh, don't do that, don't gossip, or don't look at the negative, I also know that can be hard. If those are the programs, you have those neural pathways that are going in that direction. And I get it, because that was me too. I had poverty consciousness. I was pretty negative. Right. Pretty much glass half empty. And it took a lot of work, a lot of energy work, and shifting those programs and changing the conscious thought patterns to step into the woman that I am today. and I'm not perfect. And this past couple of weeks, like, brought up my stuff, and I'm so thankful. I'm thankful for it. I'm thankful for it because it brought up some new things for us to heal. And that's what it's all about. That's what it's all about. Each of us collectively choosing love. Each of us remembering who we are. Each of us connecting to our higher self. Can you imagine, as you're watching this right now, that you are connected to your higher self and that you are listening to his or her guidance and you are doing exactly what you're guided to do? Can you imagine a planet of other human beings that we're all connected to our higher self? There will be no violence. There will be no poverty. There will be no greed and misabuse of power when we're in that place. And so we're all just plodding along, and we get to choose. We get to choose to rise up. We get to choose to raise our vibration. So for some of you that are struggling with that, come to the energy healing workshop. It's our gift to the community. And Julie says, right on, Tara, you both shine. So we just wanted to drop in and share with you a little bit about what was going on, and also to empower those of you that know you are here to shine your light bright. And it scares you. It scares you because you're afraid about getting critiqued. You're afraid about stepping away from your tribe or not belonging or getting attacked. And I'm sharing with you that it's okay. When you're connected to higher self, it really doesn't matter. This is all, it's kind of just like our video game. And so those examples showed up because it activated me. It allowed me to look at the parts in me that I still needed to heal. The parts of my ego when I was getting triggered and, like, wow, that neighbor doesn't like me. Oh my gosh. And I thought that I was beyond, being free of people's beliefs because I cannot be an effective leader if I'm caring what people think about me. So for those of you that sent me a text, thank you. Because you showed the part of me that still cared, and I've been able to heal that. I thought I was beyond it, and you showed it to me. So thank you very much. Because to be an effective leader here in this world, we have to be free of that. And that from that place, we have freedom. Because you'll know that when I share with you that it's the truth. That I'm not saying this to be liked. That I'm not saying this because I need your business or I need you to come into our company or any of that. I'm saying it because this is what I'm guided to say. And the invitation is for each of you to wake up. Each of you to surrender to higher self. Each of you to commit to live on purpose. And if you've watched this far, I invite you to post down below, I commit to living on purpose. I commit to living on purpose. Because that's what we are all here for. That's what we are all here for. So, did you want to say anything else? I know I was on a little tiring.
No, it's good. It's good. Yeah, it's we're winning or learning, right? And so there's a lot of learnings coming out of this, and we wish everyone lots of love, and we want people to thrive, and even in the vendor, man, we had great intentions for him, working with him in the future, and
yeah.
And it's just that it's really unfortunate, that we couldn't even. We were going to meet him halfway, but he wanted, way outside the expectation what we thought was. Anyways,
yeah. And it's okay. We learned from it. And Julie says, I commit to living on purpose. Dewada says, I commit to living on purpose. Nice. Yes, and I see that. And Dewada, and we saw the work that you did when you came here for the Affluent Life Retreat. So
yeah,
we honor you, and we honor all those that you are here to serve.
Well, I think too the thing that it was a blessing in disguise was the free energy workshops. I'm doing free, business masterminds for local businesses here, and those have been just phenomenal in terms of supporting local businesses and helping them grow and scale their business. So there's a lot of positive things coming out.
And Rachel says, yes, I commit to living on purpose. And Julie says, inspired by y'all. Yeah, it was really beautiful because we had a couple clients that are Costa Rican that came came to the affluence method certification, and they studied the method and the tools, and so one of our clients, Sharon Hernandez, is a powerful healer, a powerful soul, and so she has such a light, and she's a powerhouse. So it was so exciting to share those tools with her. So we were in the middle of this kind of muck, and not feeling super inspired and going through my own thing, and we had talked about previously. I had been wanting to do this energy healing workshop, but I was like, gosh, it's got to be in Spanish, and the work I do, because I'm channeling it, I can't go back and translate it. It doesn't have the same effect, because then you're in your head. And so they kind of showed up and just said, hey, let's do it. Let's do it. We know the community and everything. And so last week, in the muck of it all, they set it up. They said, okay, we got the place. It's at the library in NOSARA. They actually created the poster. And I am so grateful to them, because they helped heal me. It was such a healing gesture to me, because I was feeling kind of like, when you're hurt, you start to look through that filter of like, oh, does that person want to get me or whatever? You start to retract, right? And so I was in that kind of hurt little place, and they set up this energy healing workshop, and I went there, and there were about 8 other tikas, and actually one of the chefs was there, and it was so healing to just be on my purpose, and to share my gifts, and to ask each of them, what is your purpose, and what is your highest excitement, and what is the thing that you want to do, and releasing the blocks around that. So it was, they thought that, like I was doing something for the community, but really I was like, oh my gosh, what a gift that they did this for us, and we were able to show up because it was so healing. I felt again in flow. I felt reminded about who I am, and just the love of this community. There's so many beautiful people here, and the thing is that sometimes we have challenges. Sometimes we have conflicts like that, and we get to choose what we're going to look at, and not just to. I don't want to talk about like false positivity. It's choosing to heal, to acknowledge the emotions, and then clear those limiting beliefs in our filter that says, like, if it's people are out to get me, or people aren't trustworthy, or people want to tear you down, whatever that is, releasing those programs and going back to just those affirmations of we are all supported, that the universe has our back, that the universe conspires with you for your highest good. And so so that was like one of the gifts. Just all the synchronicities of that. Yeah. It was so beautiful. So I have another class to teach in Affluent Life. Some of you are going to be on there. But I want to send so much thank you for those of you that showed up and are recommitting or are just expressing that you are committed to living on purpose. I honor you. And I see you, and we are all here together, raising the vibration of this planet. We're each doing our individual and collective work. This is how it's done. So I hope you can feel the love. I can feel your love as you're watching this. So remember that you can absolutely live your dream now. Pura vida.